So in true Call of Duty fashion, they've come out with an update that is a complete mess in a lot of different ways. We're going to go ahead and talk about a few of the issues going on right now. Unfortunately, we can't really spend too much time on the good things that came out of the update because there are a few of them, but I think a lot of the issues that popped up as a result of the update are more glaring issues. So I think they're definitely worth talking about. We'll have some gameplay in the background. Probably towards the end game, we'll lock in and do a little bit of spectating randoms on it. But overall, I want to address some of the issues because I think there's a lot of issues that they need to be a little bit more proactive on addressing and being vocal on. I know they've already mentioned a few of these issues on Twitter with their Call of Duty update account, that they're aware of an issue or they're trying to work on an issue or they're about to fix an issue, which some might even be fixed by the time this video actually gets seen. But in general, there's a huge issue with delayed plating where it looks like they were aware of this one. When you plate, it doesn't put on the plate immediately. So you can actually do 4 plate animation because it doesn't actually, it's really buggy, really annoying to play with, almost unplayable. Unless you just really have nothing else to play, there's no reason to play the game when it's that broken for that simple of a mechanic, because that is part of the entire gameplay loop, at least in my opinion, that you get into a fight and then you plate. So if that doesn't work, there's a pretty big problem. There's also the revive bug is still in the game. This is something that people have been aware of for a long time. I don't know if it's tied to a specific perk or what specifically causes it. I don't think they actually looked that deeply into content creators' videos, but maybe they'll see a comment and go, oh, that's how it works. Good to know. Let's double check that. But then there's also another bug that came out of nowhere regarding reviving, where it can actually take longer to revive someone. So it's almost like it's doing the opposite of the effect of Survivor, where you can get revived faster or whatever from your teammates. It actually makes it slower, like double the time. I don't know. It's really wonky update. They also brought back another bugged part of thing that this was actually in Warzone 1, and I don't think we had it since then, is that you'll randomly at the pregame lobby, you can drop your guns or effectively drop your guns, and then when you load into the match, you can just land on your guns and they'll be there. I ended up posting a clip over on Twitter. I might show this up on the screen so you guys can see that, but pretty much it's another bug that's back where you're able to get your loadout immediately, not with the perks, but 2 guns is pretty big deal, right? Like you can get both your guns and overkill right off the bat, and you could place them exactly where you want. I think there was some issues with ranked one-shot sniping being a little bit wonky, some of the perks not working the way they're supposed to. On perks in general, Ghost was supposed to have a little bit of tweaks to make it a little bit more effective or work the way you would expect, because it was bugged before the update. And everyone kind of had an inkling there were bugs, but they didn't address them until we got the patch notes. And that's an issue. Hybrid is still super bugged, so the movement feels all kinds of wonky. You don't feel like you have a lot of control over it. That goes tied back into the initial comment, whereas like that's an integral part of the game. So hopefully that gets fixed immediately, because it doesn't look like those are intended changes. Like something broke, as in Call of Duty fashion. I don't know how the franchise continues to be successful when it's that developmentally broken at every update. And although there's a lot of other bad development companies and good ones, I don't know. I've never heard of one that is successful as Call of Duty that drops the ball as often as Call of Duty. So I don't know how that works. I guess the franchise just ingrained people are used to expecting. There's still a lot of crashing issues. I heard a lot of people having PS5 issues. Obviously, I play on PC on Battle.net, which is the best performance out of anything that you're going to play on PC. No reason to play on Steam. The Xbox One is kind of janky. Battle.net's where you should be playing. You get better frames. It performs better, less crashes. But regardless, that's that. And then Xbox is raising their prices on consoles and games, and I don't know, gaming's getting kind of hectic. The updates that they said that would be in the patch aren't mentioned anywhere when you select the perks. So when it was supposed to be 3 seconds up to 4 for Survivor, it doesn't like actually adjust in the menus. I haven't had a chance to test it yet. Obviously, I had to put out a video about the close range meta yesterday. I had to level up, unlock, test, and then do a bunch of other Twitter content that I got to put out on update days. A new thing is there's something related to field upgrade. So whatever, if you kill someone, whatever their previous field upgrade was. So if they had it on their person, so for example, if they had a loadout, they would drop the loadout. If they used the loadout and you killed them, they would still drop a loadout marker, or whatever other field upgrade, munitions, armor box, those types of things, they'll automatically be issues that are part of it. And as soon as you kill them, they'll drop that item. So it keeps that just that way. That's just a bunch of broken stuff that like we shouldn't be even talking about. We should be really talking about what was in the update, which was, in my opinion, a very mediocre weapon balancing patch. There was a decent amount of people that were gassing up certain guns and attachments, like the TAC 56 is just okay. It still has a lot of other issues with it. It's definitely better. The HRM definitely got a significant buff, but it's still kind of like blah, in my opinion. I think there's 4 or 5 other options that are just as good or better. I think the sniping situation doesn't even look like the intervention got the buff it was supposed to. The HDR is still the most dominant because it guarantees the one shot. They didn't buff any of the long range options in terms of meta to be able to beam a sniper, even though they put through tons of buffs. Most of those are negligible. The TR2, the AKA the FAL, is quoted in there in the patch notes as saying this is going to be your sniper contender. Not one person's using that because as soon as they tried it, they realized it's not good and it's not the sniper contender. Maybe in casual BR, but in the regular BR, it's not. And that's that whole bunch. We've already talked plenty about weapons. Maybe they'll get that dialed in at some point. I stopped holding out hope on the balancing. The zips are great to have back on the map. I know we already had them in Plunder. I think they streamline some of the playing process to kind of remove some of the rub points that are just kind of annoying. And we already had for Verdansk for 17 out of the 21 months that Verdansk was out originally. Because Verdansk came out in season 3, March of 2020, and then 4 months later we got season 5, and that's when zips were added. So for those first 4 months, zips weren't in there, and there was a bunch of other stuff. We still had stopping power, dead silence, and a bunch of stuff they didn't bring back because they knew that was just ridiculous. There was like a certain point where they're like, nah, we're not going to add that. And zips were in the game for 17 months from season 5 through all the way that year, all the way until we got the integration with Cold War. And then it went a little bit further, and then we got the new map, which was Verdansk 84, new, modified. And then that went all the way to Caldera, where there was zips that entire time. And then we still had zips in Caldera, and that's when they later on added the balloons and all that other nonsense that took it a little bit too far. I know a lot of people are concerned about the zips being like that slippery slope. Based off everything I've heard from the community, the devs, the people who work on the game and all that type of stuff, I don't think they have plans of ever having balloons or drones in Battle Royale ever again. They'll probably be in Rebirth because, yeah, they're fine. Rebirth's a different mode. Maybe they'll be in Plunder. But Battle Royale, I don't ever see those coming back, and they'll just keep zips and then vehicles, kind of the main modes of transportation, or elevators to get to a top, to go through another room, to come up to the roof, to jump off if you need to get across, right? And another thing that they didn't even really talk about is there's like 20 plus different Easter eggs on the map. So if you're like an Easter egg hunter, I know there's teams of Discords trying to find all the hidden stuff that's scattered across Verdansk. There's stuff even outside the playable area. So like you have to run out of the map where the screen's like, you're gonna die, grab the item and get back into the map. There's that level of looking for stuff. Bunkers. I think there's something with key cards to get into a safe. I think there's the secret key codes to enter the specific doors, and then there's loot inside. So there's a bunch of stuff going on with that if you're interested in kind of like some of the lore, and there's like hidden notes hidden around the map. I don't really get into too much of the Easter egg and lore unless I get a reward, which to my knowledge, maybe they haven't added the reward, and hopefully they do later on, or maybe it just is what it is. But either way, that's the state of the game. Thank you. Hopefully this guy plays the game. The other dude was AFK like 80% of the match. What are we doing? Got insta-deleted. All right, so we're on with another guy. He's about to die right here, though. He's trying to make it work. Got to get plated. Top 9. Got to jump down on you. Oh, you might be able to stay in it. Oh, you got shot by somebody else. Rip. So they're on top. They're going to be in the gas. Oh, no, they're not. They're at the edge of the building. Hopefully we get them. Oh, that guy could just stay quiet. Yeah, look, right at the edge here. Just don't go crazy. Okay. You went for it. There's still 5 other players.
I'm good.
They're rocking the HDR. That got nerfed, by the way. All right, good spot. Hide in the foliage. Okay, there's somebody going to be coming up. They're going to be a distraction. Everyone's looking at them. Don't worry. Just clear the side over here. There should be one guy over here and then one over there on the hill where they're fighting. There's actually two up there. I think the one jumped out of the vehicle. They're both fighting there. 1v1 for everything. You got a good idea of using the KSV as well. They don't know where you're at. You could bait them if you throw a smoke to like the left or the right or something like that. Oh, you can see where he popped up. He's calling in a streak. There's the cluster. You saw them pop up on the minimap. Anytime you use a streak, it will pop up and show you on the minimap. So we did get to see that when they pull out the little keypad. At least the guy had a good spot. So maybe they have a... Oh, there he is. He's on the tree. Oh, he got a sniper as well. Counter snipe off. Bro. You're dead. GG's. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Spectating Random and the update on the state of the game. See you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.